Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 10 out of Jake, man. I'm rocking with y'all rocking with me. Before I start this video, I just wanted to give a big shout out to everybody that's been rocking with the channel, those that have just found the channel. We just hit 300,000 subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you. For this video, we're going to be speaking on Orlando rapper Glokk and how he was just released from jail only days after one of his close friends, Afnf Metemo, was killed after being released. Now, with every negative, there's a positive, and vice versa. Only 3 days ago, Afnf member Metemo was just shot and killed just hours after being released from jail on bail for a first-degree murder charge in what's described by law enforcement as a gang-related killing. Afnf and the rival 438 have made back-to-back headlines throughout the past few months over numerous shootings and killings. In April of 2020, Metemo was arrested for the shooting death of Wolf Luma. The day of Wolf's funeral service, a drive-by took place on a group that had just left the service.
Dexter Rents had all the makings to be a big-time playmaker for the Louisville Cardinals. Rents racked up 1,700 all-purpose yards last year at Ocoee High School in Orlando, scoring touchdowns receiving, rushing, and on special teams. But all that was cut short around 11 Saturday night. Orlando police responded to a shooting in the city's Carver Shores neighborhood. 4 people, including Rents, had been shot. Rents was the only victim who died, and police are still piecing together what led up to the shooting.
A man named Jeremiah Robinson was the suspected shooter. July 7, 2020, Van Sean Smith, who's described by police as the second in command of the 438 gang, had just stepped outside of a home in the Pine Hills neighborhood of Orlando. He saw 2 men approaching in a vehicle, both members of the rival Afnf gang, according to law enforcement. The passenger in the car rolled the window down and started shooting. Van Sean grabbed a rifle, fired back, and struck the passenger, Jeremiah Robinson, in the back of his head. He died in the hospital days later. This was the 3rd death tied to the gang dispute, and the man who was driving the vehicle was charged with a felony murder for committing a crime that resulted in his own friend's death. That same month, Glokk would be charged with 5 attempted murders for allegedly shooting up Orlando rapper Cut'em Reese's house. Reese's mom would go on to tell police that the 2 rival rappers are cousins, according to police reports. August 5th, a 14-year-old was shot and killed in a drive-by. A still shot picture from a video showing a man hanging out of a car window with an AK-47 styled weapon. 2 days later, Van Sean Smith was leaving a mall when police decided to move in on him to make an arrest relating to the previous shooting he was involved in back in July. Van Sean surrendered, but a man with Van Sean took off running and was shot and killed by one of the officers. The video of police failing to resuscitate his lifeless body was posted to YouTube by the news. A 14 and 15-year-old in Pine Hills was shot outside of a home September 22nd. The 14-year-old later dying in the hospital, and the very next day, Orlando was shaken when news broke of 3-year-old Daquan Felix Jr. being killed after a witness saw 2 cars pull up back to back with men hanging out of the windows opening fire on a home. The 3-year-old was fatally shot in the head. Now, like I said in the beginning, with every negative there's a positive. Glokk received news that his close friend had been killed after just being bailed out of jail, and now Glokk himself has been released after receiving a $5,000 bond on being a felon in possession of a firearm. In a separate case, he's still fighting 5 counts of attempted murder, shooting into an occupied dwelling, and another charge for being a felon in possession of a firearm. He was previously on a $36,000 bond for those charges. Aside from being free, Glokk had another case dismissed in which he was charged with possessing a short-barreled rifle, and the fact that he's getting out with charges falling apart makes me think the police may just be putting whatever they can on him without enough evidence to actually convict him. After all the back and forth bloodshed and the shooting that just happened, every cop in Orlando is going to have eyes on Glokk, and it sounds like a setup to me to be letting him out. Police know people want him dead, and they expect some form of retaliation after his friend was just killed. Courts will make you stay within the same county at a specific listed address, and he isn't in a position to risk another gun charge with the amount of time he's already facing. While being a talented rapper, it seems looking from the outside in, he's more in the streets than the industry, and the streets are slowly taking his career from him, along with everyone else around him. Now, it's made news that the FBI has moved into Orlando, and obviously Glokk 9 ain't scared of nobody. He ain't scared to be on bond, he's not scared to be out, and he's gonna do what he's gotta do to survive, right? That's the game. But at the same time, that's the risk of him losing his entire career. And I've been listening to his music as I've been doing his videos. He's snapping, you know what I'm saying? He has the potential to blow bigger than he is. It's just a matter of, can he leave what's happened behind? You know, people gotta understand, when it comes to deaths, when it comes to people getting killed, it makes things that much realer. And while a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, if he gets out and gets locked back up, he's a dumbass. Well, how many of you have been in a position when a whole area of a city is trying to kill you? And you know this because people in your circle have died under the same circumstance. And nothing is one-sided. It's not like Glokk 9's a victim. He's taking losses, the other side's taking losses. This is the continuous cycle. What is rare is for somebody to break out of that cycle. And when you're dealing with people that literally have millions, it's like, why beef? I understand it, but I still ask the question, why still do it? You still do it because you were already doing it before you blew up. You blew up off of living that life, speaking on that life. People ask the question, why is rap, why is hip hop the only genre where everybody's getting killed? Because in my opinion, it's one of the truest and most authentic art forms that there are. Music genres that there are. Because it came from the pain, the suffering, and what really happens inside of the ghettos. You know what I mean? It comes from the hood. It comes from the areas where things like this happen. And that is why people are still affected. Because the ones that are speaking on it, rapping about it, have come from that lifestyle or are still involved in that lifestyle. It only makes things that much harder when you're a celebrity, when all eyes are on you from the police, from other gangs, from people you don't even know that are beefing with you. Now, the only plus side to being free, if he's allowed to do it, is he can continue to work. If he can perform shows, he can bring in money and he can fuel his lawyers to fight the other cases that he has standing. And we'll see if he's able to avoid prison time, but most importantly, we'll see if he's able to avoid falling victim to the streets. But with that being said, it's 10 out of Jake. I'm rocking with y'all rocking with me. Till next time.